I present Trencher Jeep. Ooh. Well, I picked this up in St. Louis, Missouri. So what kind of drew my attention to it was the kind of the perfect worn out farm Jeep look that it's got to it. Like the International Harvester red paint that it's got going on here. So what exactly makes a Trencher Jeep, you might ask? So the first thing you're gonna notice, so you got the normal 3 shifters, then you have the PTO shifter. So what you got to do is engage that, and then underneath it, you will see it's got some cool stuff going on. So the e-brake has a sort of gear on it, and that gear is connected to another gear, which is connected to a lever on the side of the frame. So once the PTO is engaged, I'm not exactly quite sure how the system operates, but you pull this or you push it in or out. Yeah, it's so janky. They cut a hole in the frame to use the system. It does some witchcraft. Then you go back here. So while the PTO is spinning, this would be your engagement. So when you pull or push on that lever would engage or disengage this. You see it's got a keyed shaft here. So to run the system, it's got a separate shaft, one for the PTO over here and then one for that gear system that goes to another yoke right there. So there's 2 different styles that they used on Trencher Jeeps. The first one, which is an early style like this one, the trencher bolts up to this support here and the whole trencher hangs off the back of the Jeep. Now the later versions, this piece did not exist, and rather the entire trencher sat, though most of the weight was inside of the bed of the Jeep, and then you had hydraulic controls on it. Now this one was fully mechanical. And to help with the just a total strain of the trencher, the Jeep is fitted with what they call helper springs on the rear axle. So it's just a coil spring, one on each side of the axle. So then you have to bolt that bracket to the frame to support the extra spring there, and then do some stuff on the axle right there. So overall they kind of had it figured out. Now this Jeep, the trencher is no longer with it, and it looks like someone kind of started tearing it apart, maybe to do some work on it. This one also does not have an engine. So there's the serial number here. So the number is 208316. So while you're out there trenching out in the field, you're gonna need to know where you're going, because you're not driving the Jeep, you're hanging off the back of it, working the trenching system. So what they had is a mechanism that locked the steering wheel onto the windshield. It's just kind of a locked latch, and then while you're hanging off back there, this bracket right here came all the way out, and like a pole that would have stuck out, so you know where you're at in relation to the field. So that's pretty cool. That one's gone now, but then these also have something to do with it. I can't quite remember. But overall, it's a pretty neat Jeep. I had plans of fixing it up and trenching with it a couple times, but just too many projects going on, so this one is going up for sale. And with the Jeep, I got an engine that is not original to it. This one is out of an M38 Jeep, and it does spin over by hand, which is good. Carburetor is covered up, so it's got the bones there to make a cool little farm Jeep project. Someone just patched over the floor areas and put some seats in it and replace the gauges. Just leave the main part of the body alone, and then just kind of get her running and driving and stopping. It'd be a nice little farm Jeep. So there you have it. The Trencher.